are not protected by the First Amendment. And so if you engage in speech, if your speech falls into one of those categories, you don't have any, just like the Seattle Times report or the New York Times, you don't have any sort of First Amendment grounds to contest the censorship. But for the most part, if you do your job as a reporter, cross your T's, dot your I's, that's not going to be a problem. The second category, though, that they created, and this was unique for students. This was kind of something that the court created out of whole cloth here. They said that we're also going to uphold censorship if the school can show that the speech creates a material and substantial disruption of school activities. In other words, courts interpreting that the standard have read that to mean is that if you engage in speech that creates some sort of physical disruption, and it has to be a pretty serious physical disruption, if you engage in that sort of speech, it's not going to be protected. So, a real simple example is, if you're in high school and you don't like the new dress code policy, and you write an editorial that says, okay, we don't like the new dress code policy, that's fine. But then you go on and say, okay, tomorrow at noon, we all are going to we're going to leave class and we're all going to gather, for a rally outside the school. That's the sort of speech that is probably going to, seriously disrupt school. You're telling students in a very serious way. It's not just a hint. You're saying this is the time, this is the place we're going to do it. Schools would have the right under the Tinker standard to probably stop that sort of speech. Yeah.
Would that standard also apply to behavior, not just in the written?
Oh yeah. Oh definitely. Behavior actually is probably entitled to even. Unless you can interpret it as being, just as a speech activity, they're probably able to stop even before that. Speech is, speech is supposed to be on a pedestal, and that's why we have the First Amendment. It has more protection in many cases than other sorts of activities. So anyway, so 1969, that was the standard. That was the first time, and it was a big win. It really was a big win for students. And it was used. That case was used pretty much across the board. Anytime any sort of student speech issue came up, Tinker was what they pulled out. Tinker was the standard. So it was applied. It was an armband case, but it was applied to lots of student newspaper cases, lots of student yearbook cases. There's some student theater cases, things like that. Pretty much any sort of speech case from 1969 on was covered by the Tinker standard. To then 1988. 1988. How many of you guys